Hi. My hope had been for me to be able to record this report and the other things that happened at the meeting while we were in person, but that did not come to pass. So I'm going to record it here in hopes that you'll be able to watch it and be encouraged by the things that are going on in the Federation that have happened this year and also the things that will be happening in the future. So it's a lot to tell. 2022, a year that has gone by. I've been here in this position since March, so I've only been able to experience 10 months of it. But there's been a lot of great things going on in the Federation. I want to tell you about some of those things. There's some different ways that we could report what's gone on. We could start kind of with a calendar of events and things that have happened. There's the Baskets of Joy event that took place in April, Easter baskets that were distributed to children in Zion City, the outdoor way of the cross, in which several of our leaders and faith leaders in the community participated. Starting at the beginning of the summer, we went back to in person dining at Holy Grill after several months off for the pandemic, and we held several cookouts to get people back into the spirit of eating together again. During the summer, we had our annual Kids Summer Cafe with reading activities for the children and special food for them, and lots of great activities for them every Friday during the summer months. We had a book drive in the fall and a first annual literacy fair that took place on World Literacy Day on September 8th. For those of you who are able to be there, you know what a special event the community prayer breakfast was, and how many people attended that, and just a great event that it was. And then just recently, about a month ago, we had our renewed, revamped Health and Taste Fair at Cadillac Street Park for the residents of Zion City and the surrounding communities. So those are some of the events that have taken place this past year. And of course, there have been lots of smaller things that weren't mentioned there. And that's one way to tell the story. Another way to tell the story is in numbers. We have 47 member congregations currently from different faith traditions. This year, so far, just through the month of November, our Holy Grill program has served 13,886 meals served at the Cadillac Street Park. And if you're not familiar with that, it's in North Baton Rouge and Zion City, and they have hot meals served there daily, 5 days a week during the weekdays. We're serving between 50 and 75 folks each day. By the numbers, again, we have approximately 950 volunteer hours, but that's just ones that have been recorded and can be counted. There are probably many, many more when we think of all the preparation that went into buying gifts for Easter baskets and Christmas gifts and all the different things that have gone on to prepare for the events that have happened this year. We had 75 Easter baskets that were given out through the Baskets of Joy event in April. We had more than 1,000 snow cones that were served at our Summer Kids Cafe. I would love to say that it was 1,000 different people served, but really some of the kids kept coming back for more. They loved the snow cones so much. It was a great way to get the kids and their families out from the neighborhood to come and do literacy activities there at the Holy Grill, and also to do children's activities. The bookmobile was there. There were several different programs that happened. So that was during the summer. In the fall, I mentioned our book drive, and we collected more than this is a low estimate, more than 1,150 books for literacy fair that took place on September 8th, and then those books have also been used throughout the semester, and we'll continue to be using those and giving those out for different projects in the coming year. There were 40 children approximately who attended our literacy fair on September 8th. That is an amazing number considering how awful the weather was that day. We were really wondering whether we would have any children at all. But 40 children at least came through, with some with parents and grandparents and other folks that came through. And they left with books in their hands and smiles on their faces. It was a really great day, and we look forward to doing that again each year. At our annual community prayer breakfast, we had 220 approximately people who participated and attended there, and a number of different organizations who were represented. And it was a great event that took place on September the 15th. And then 100 participants at our newly revamped Health and Taste Fair that took place on November 19th. which again was a great event. So many people that came through the gym to take advantage of flu shots and other things that we were doing. But also, it was a great event because of the different partner organizations that were there. More than 30 organizations were a part of presenting, whether it was Ochsner, who was doing the flu shots, to Pennington Biomedical, who was doing presentations on health and particularly on nutritious eating. We had the LSU Ag Center, the Southern University Ag Center that were there, lots and lots of different partners that were there, and many of them there together for the first time. Hopefully, a start to seeing some cooperation and collaboration there in North Baton Rouge and the other areas in the city that need our attention. And finally, here at this coming week, we will have 160 children who will receive Christmas gifts through the Holy Grill annual Christmas party, which is taking place on Friday, the 16th. That's going to be a great event, and already the office is filled to the brim. It's almost hard to walk through the office. There's so many presents there, and it's exciting to see that those children and their families will be getting Christmas gifts. So we've told about activities, we've told about numbers, but numbers don't tell the whole story. They never do because there's so many other things that make up the Federation. There's no real way to quantify the impact that our efforts have had this year, and that the impact that they've had not just on our constituents at the Holy Grail, but on the faith communities and the different people that we've served alongside. What's more impressive to me is the hundreds of people like you who are listening to this video that I've met these last 10 months who are passionate and excited about the work that the Federation is doing. I've been amazed and surprised as people have told me their stories over these last few months about their history with the Federation, the ways that they've partnered and seen great things happening in our community because of the Interfaith Federation that's been in existence for 36 years. And I've been humbled to see just how passionate so many of you are about cultivating unity and justice and peace. The executive director is not the Federation. We have a very talented staff and group of people who work, but they do not make up the Federation. The Federation is you, people who are part of our faith congregations, people who volunteer week after week to help serve food or come together for the community events and the dialogue sessions. You make up the Federation, and you are the reason that this Federation is such a great organization that can accomplish so much here in Baton Rouge. As I concluded my report, I wanted to tell a story about a couple of folks who exemplify to me the work of the Federation and the things that have gone on this past year. A few months ago, we got a knock on our door at the office. Nobody was expecting anybody, and we went up to the front door to see who it was. And there, standing at the door, was Miss Lucinda Warren. Lucinda is works with children in our community and has for many, many years. Lucinda was also the first Black nurse hired at Baton Rouge General Hospital, so she has a history of seeing good things and doing courageous things in our community. And when she knocked on our door, she came in and simply introduced herself and said, "I heard that you all work with children up in Zion City, and I'm interested in helping out." She reads, she does activities, and she came during the summer and prepared activities for the children that included reading along with them, that included some coloring and arts and crafts. She even brought in some outside guests to show children just what great things that they can do. A couple that dance and some musical artists. Just a really wonderful way of introducing kids to some new ideas and to some good books. And here she is at Thanksgiving. She told me from several months ago that she wanted to do something during the week that the kids were off school at Thanksgiving. So we had a book that had been donated to us at the book fair that was, she had multiple copies of the same book. So she read the book along with them and they all read together. This was at the Thanksgiving meal just a couple of weeks ago. So Miss Lucinda, we didn't call her and ask her to show up. She showed up on our front door and asked how she could help, and she has been a valuable asset to our work and to the community. Another person who just showed up on our front porch is Mr. Tim Yon. You see him here holding a basket of bread or a box of bread. Tim goes and gets bread that is donated by the Panera Bread restaurants. They cook one evening for the following day, and once that bread is used the following day, at the end of that day, they have to discard it or donate it. So Tim goes and picks up the bread from Panera and just distributes it to many different ministries around the city that feed the hungry. And one day he just showed up on our front porch, told us what he does, and he said, "I heard that you all are feeding folks, and I wondered if you could use some bread." And of course, we were able to use that bread. So, from fresh loaves of things that are used in sandwiches to bread puddings to desserts that are handed out after the meal at Holy Grill, Tim has provided those things for us day after day. And we're grateful for him. Again, someone who just showed up on our porch and said he wanted to be a part of what was going on. So it's exciting to me to see all these things that are happening. And I wanted to encourage you that there are such good things happening in this city parish. Now, if you go on the news, if you go on websites, if you read the paper, you can find out about all the bad things going on. There's no lack of those. But for every one of those bad things that happen in our community, for every tragedy, for every awful thing that we see, I want you to remember that there are thousands of other stories that don't go reported in the news of people who show up to help when they are needed, of people who stop to help others who are in need, of people who show up to distribute food or to help feed or to be a part of a discussion that makes the community better. You have to look to find these things, but they're there and they far, far outweigh all the bad things that we see happening in the world and in our news. So I just wanted to encourage you with those things that the Federation has been up to this past year and to thank you for your part in that. Because again, the Federation is not me or our staff, it's not a feeding program. Our Federation is people just like you who care about making our community a better place and about cultivating unity, justice, and peace.